Ron DeSantis is really bad at campaigning, and the loss of support that he's suffered since announcing his run is pretty much proof of that. The Florida governor has now dropped by nearly 10 points since entering the race, and even though his main opponent is under criminal indictment, he seems to be falling still. Ring of Fire's Farron Cousins joins me to talk about that. Farron, when he started his campaign, a lot of fanfare, a lot of whistles, a lot of, banging and clanging. But if you look at this story and other stories like it, you got to wonder.
Yeah, it's funny because, we've been doing this for 2 decades. We've covered so many campaigns. And I don't know legitimately that I can say I've ever seen a candidate enter a race and lose support. Typically, when candidates enter a race, even if it's been teased for a long time, they see a bump in support. Nikki Haley saw a huge bump in support that did immediately evaporate. This guy lost points. Chris Christie had a bump. Asa Hutchinson had a bump. The other guys, I think, have had a 1 or 2 point. He lost support. More people said, oh, well, I don't like you now. It's so funny.
Well, what also is happening, Larry Hogan does a story for Newsweek. The very fact it's in Newsweek to me is suspect. Yeah. It's just what a trash source. But he's the former Maryland GOP governor, and as I see him out here saying, that he's in a demise, that he can't turn it around, there is something you have to throw out there, and that is opposition puts people like Larry Hogan to do this. You understand what I'm saying? So, but if the numbers are reflecting it, then that gives him credibility. But there's going to be a whole army of Larry Hogans out there, Newsweek magazines out there that are trying to shape this presidential election. So when I read this, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's basically BS, Larry Hogan. But as I look at the numbers, they seem to support that, don't they?
They really do, because DeSantis, for the first time in his, since becoming governor, he's now got an approval rating of a net negative 19 points. Right. So he is finally underwater. He, again, lost 9 points. If you look at the conglomerates, some polls have it a little higher, some a little lower. So he's trailing to a guy that is under criminal indictment in both New York and federally in Florida now, and he's losing support.
Seems to be an inability to connect. He's not a good speaker. People aren't comfortable with him.
And he's not comfortable with people.
Yeah, even when he's in a room with small crowds, there's kind of an ick factor, which is amazing because he's a very smart guy. Harvard educated, but when they put him in a room or put him in front of a camera with a microphone, he's kind of in bad shape. And the question is, can he turn that around? He's got time to do it. I don't know.
Right. And the other thing here is DeSantis, like Donald Trump, has a very short fuse. And he is known to snap and lash out at people. But when Trump does it, it's different. And I don't want to give Trump credit.
Maybe they expect Trump to do that,
Well, they
right?
do. And plus, Trump occasionally can make it seem funny almost, I guess is the word I'm struggling to find.
Well, laughing at him is an easy thing to do.
Well, but then DeSantis does it, and DeSantis feels more personal and mean when he lashes out at a reporter. Trump can get the crowd to join with him, and they'll mock the person. DeSantis seems like he instantly wants to punch that person in the face. Yeah. And that's the difference in personality.
The media, you'll see, I promise you, within a matter of months, will be moving towards a Gavin Newsom versus DeSantis clash. That's what it's going to be. If Biden does drop out, which he should, he absolutely should, and Kamala Harris never should step into those shoes, it leaves a Gavin running against DeSantis, and the numbers probably favor DeSantis in that, regardless of what a bad candidate. We've had a lot of bad candidates. But if he can make the distance, we've done, I don't know how many stories anti-DeSantis. I'm telling you, I'm putting that aside now and give you my analysis from the standpoint, I really don't believe, I just don't believe that Biden's going to be standing when we get into the real election. I think Gavin Newsom may emerge, and it's going to be him. against Gavin Newsom. It's not going to be Trump.
No, and it is funny because as bad as things are looking for DeSantis, he still leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else in that Republican field.
It's not even close.
Chris
really.
Christie is doing his best to try to get attention, but he's so bad.
Chris Christie's the only person maybe worse than DeSantis.
And Mike Pence has no personality.
Yeah.
The other folks, there's so many, I've already forgotten a lot of their names.
Yeah, me too. Me too. A new study's found that cancer-causing chemicals called PFAS have been found in all the brands of contact lenses studied in the United States. These compounds have been linked to a variety of different and often fatal forms of cancer. As you know, I tried the very first PFAS cases ever tried in this country. Tried 5 of them against DuPont. Then we found out 3M was making as much of this as DuPont. We're going to start starting one of the biggest trials in America is going to be starting up in South Carolina, June. And I'll tell you what, the documents are unbelievable.
Yeah, I actually, last week on America's Lawyer, talked to attorney Wes Bowden about that particular case, and it is disgusting what's happening up there. And this is just another story, because you and I have sat here, we've talked about PFAS chemicals for so long in so many different instances. Yeah. We talked about how it's in your cereal, it's in your toilet paper, it's in your wood products, your paper, and now...
Baby diapers.
Diapers.
Yeah.
Now it's in your contact lenses. And the eyes, obviously, in case anybody's not aware of this, are one of the most vulnerable parts of your body. It is a direct connection to the inside of you as an organism. And we're putting these PFAS chemicals into our eyes, and we didn't know it. And God only knows how many decades we've been doing it.
Let me put this in perspective, okay? If you took one drop and put that drop in an Olympic-sized pool, that first of all, that one drop under the standards that should be followed is too much. Yeah. That one drop in an Olympic-sized pool. Now, here's what they're finding. 18,000 parts per million. 18,000 parts per million are being found in these contact lenses. Even the government says, in the most favorable situation, that 2,000 parts per trillion is the acceptable level. You get the deal?
Yeah.
18,000 per million and then 2,000 per trillion. And so we're seeing this, and again, science won't react. It's not a problem. Everybody's overreacting. No, nobody's overreacting. You're putting this in your eyeballs every day, man.
Yeah, we're going to deal with an entire, up-and-coming generation that's been more exposed to this than any other generation. And we're going to see illnesses, cancers, all sorts of things in that younger generation, more so, I think, than we have seen in any of the others.
Oh, I don't think there's any question.